Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock with news of a sharp turn to risk aversion. The US budget deficit pushed on up closer to the $1 trillion mark in July, now at $962 billion. That is 27% higher than 1 year ago and well higher than for all of the previous fiscal year. However, the recent Congressional deal makes a debt limit shutdown much less likely, even when it pushes it up through that benchmark. The $1 trillion level will represent 4.7% of US GDP, up from 3.9% in fiscal 2018 and just 3.4% in the prior year. Bond markets winced, becoming even more risk-averse and driving the yield for US Treasury 10-year bonds down to 1.66%, which is the lowest level since October 2016. Equity markets also reacted negatively, with the S&P 500 now down 1.5%. That is much more than the 0.2% decline that European markets closed out overnight. Yesterday, Asian equity markets were generally positive, especially Shanghai, which was up almost 1.5%. Another overnight negative came from Argentina, where the president suffered a shock loss in a primary election campaign for re-election, beaten by a candidate not committed to reform. The reactions have been swift and harsh on both the Argentine currency and equity markets there. In China, credit growth is slowing, and quite sharply. Banks lent just on $150 billion in new loans in the month, more than 30% lower than for June and more than 15% less than analysts were expecting. This significantly slower pace of lending will add to expectations that Beijing will have to step up monetary easing measures to boost the weakening economy amid escalating trade tensions with the US. Locally, we get the REINZ data for July house sales activity at 9 o'clock, so join us then for full analysis. The US Treasury 10-year yield is down a sharp 9 basis points to be just at 1.66%. Gold is $9 higher today at $1,505 an ounce. US oil price is little changed today, just on $54.50 a barrel. The Brent benchmark is also little changed, it's $58.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is unchanged today, still at 64.7 US cents. On the cross rates, we're marginally firmer at 95.5 Aussie cents. Against the euro, we're softer at 57.5 euro cents. That sets the trade-weighted index back slightly, just on 69.6. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.